Today we are here to hook up a VIP dog mini package bag. It's a little smaller in size than it is. It is more suitable for the children. The cup can also be hung on a package as a headphone package. The wire used to be made of 5 strands of milk cotton. A double strand hook loom. The crochet is used for the 3.5 millimeters of the crochet. And start the hook for the next one. The starting pin. We're the one who hit the 2 rings on the fingers. The crochet needle penetrates into the starting ring of the needle. Hook up a loop with a single coil. Then go on the hook for a little more stitch up. We crochet 6 short needles in the starting ring. Such a short pin is hooked up to the hook. Mark the first pin position with a tick button. Then continue to hook up 5 short needles in the starting ring. $12,345. After 5 short needles are hooked up to the next, we come to the opening of the opening. The line in the first pull inside. The line that's on the outside of the pull. That way, we have a narrowing of the needle ring. The crochet is worn back inside the needle ring. Then go on with our first shot. It's also just a few of the number button positions. Hook up the hook for a pull-out pin. The first lap is the end of it. Then we hooked up with a standing ovation. Keyring, we pull a little bit tighter. It will be a little bit smaller, so that the traces will be pulled. And then hook up with a standing ovation. We started to hook up the second lap. The second lap we were in each of the pinches. In the middle hook weave a needle with a short needle. Every single one of them, we have to hook up to. Anyway, the first shot of the hook is good. Mark it with a ticks button for a bit. The second lap is hooked up to the hook. It should have been a 12 pin. And then take the ticks off the hook. The hook needle goes through the mark buckle position. Hook up the hook for a pull-out pin. The coil is tensioned. And then hook up with a standing ovation. We started to hook up the third lap. The third circle we are, according to the subtiring one. Add the regular pattern of a needle to the hook. The meaning of the next 1 pin plus 1 pin. It is the first needle that hooks up a short pin. Number 1. It is really good enough to be. Mark it with a ticks button for a bit. Then, in the midst of a second set of needles, hook up with a needle for a short pin. The third pin is hooked up with a short pin. The fourth one, the needle is hooked up with a needle for a short needle. Let's take a look at in this way the septagona is formed, and a needle is added. The effect of the next 1 pin plus 1 pin. Then we complete the third circle according to this pattern. After the third lap has been hooked up, we are with the first needle. The hook ends up with a drawing pin ending. And then hook up with a standing ovation. We started to hook up the fourth lap. The fourth circle of our laws is that of the. A couple of needles are added to each other. Hook up a short pin in the middle of the first needle. And then mark it with a mark button. The second one is hooked up to a short pin. The addition of a short needle in the middle of the third pin. A short pin in the fourth pin of a needle. A short pin in the fifth pin of a needle. A staple of a short pin in the sixth needle. Let's take a look at the. In this way the effect of a 2-pin plus 1 pin is formed. And then the. We finish the fourth lap in accordance with the pattern. After the fourth lap is hooked up to the end, we in the first needle hooked up with a drawing pin. And then hook up with a standing ovation. We started to hook up the fifth lap. The fifth circle we are in accordance with a 3-pin plus 1 pin. The sixth lap is added a pin according to the 4-pin. The seventh circle is added a pin according to the 5-pin. The eighth circle is added a needle circle according to the 6-pin. According to the septigana, a needle is added to the. Next we always ticked up to the ninth lap according to the pattern. After the completion of the ninth lap, it's good enough for us to have a body part. The body parts need to be hooked up to 2 pieces. One of them, we were hooked up with the bag. The bag is not as undiminished as it is. The hook is a 3-row short pin. Set aside the right frame number in the middle line as a zipper opening. Next we install the zipper on the side. Change the red limit on the tongue part of the puppy. First of all, hit a living knot on the finger. The crochet needle penetrates into the starting ring of the needle. The hook is woven with 1233 locking pins. Then go back to the penultimate in the penultimate shot. Organize a short pin for a short time. The vertices are hooked in the eye of the eye. A short pin for a short time. 2 locking pins for the first 2. Then it goes through the same needle and into the same needle. Continue to hook up the hook for a short pin. Into the middle of the anvil in front of it. Hook up with a short pin again. An end to the end of a drawing pin. Cut the line and cut the line. That way the tongue will be on the hook for a good one. Next we hooked up the little ball on the puppy's face. His nose is the same way he did it. The hook goes out of the 2. Then stick together and get the needle together. The ring up needle method that we use for a. First of all on the fingers, and 2 more. Then the crochet is inserted inside the needle ring. The crochet needle penetrates into the starting ring of the needle. Then the hook is hooked up with 4 locking pins. Go around the line twice. The inner hook of the ring of the comeback needle. Weave out of 8 unaccomplished long needles. After 8 long needles hooked up to the other, we hook up the needle in a thread. All the coils on the hook needle are towed once and for all. And hook up with a standing ovation. Cut the line and cut the line. And then we come and deal with the opening part of us. The line in the first pull inside. The line that's on the outside of the pull. In this way the starting ring has shrunk down. After we handle the line head, we're going to take it. According to the same method, a total of 14 pellets are hooked up to the ball. After the pellets are ready, the ball is ready. We started out with the assembly of the. First, determination of the position of the tongue is made. And then determine the position of the nose. Determine the position of the ball in a small ball. Determine the position of the eyebrow in the shape of. Put a patch of the nose to the face. Determine the position of the two eyes in the first place. And then start to stitch up the. Stick the patch on top of the nose with glue. Stitching up the rest of the 5 officials. After the 5 officers were sewn up, we turned it over to the back of the back. The other body of the body. Stitching each other up. When it comes to stitching, stir up the hole of the anvil.